First down and 10 now from the 29. Good pocket for Patterson.
Nice slant here to Nico Collins for a first down. Let's take a look at what Maryland is bringing off the edge. So this guy's dropping back into coverage. You're going to bring 5 on the pass rush. So this defensive end is going to occupy the right tackle Mayfield here. Nose tackle is going to head towards the right guard. This defensive tackle will head towards the left guard here. You're going to have 22, this linebacker coming, trying to occupy the left tackle. And then you're going to have this corner blitz off the edge here, trying to get to Patterson, which he will do. So let's take a look at this moving forward here. So you see at the time of the throw, 25 is on his way on his blitz, but since it's a quick throw, it doesn't really get there. So how Michigan is blocking this, in response to the blitz, you're going to have this guy off the edge, that one-on-one with Mayfield. This defensive tackle, you'll have both Nwenu and Ruiz taking him on. Bredesen will have this defensive end. John Runyon Jr. will pick up this blitzer off the edge here, and then you're not going to have anyone for this actual blitzer off the edge, but like I said, it's a quick throw, so he doesn't really need to be accounted for, but if it's a longer developing throw here, it could have ran into some issues. So let's take a look at the routes for Michigan. At the top, obviously, Michigan's going straight to Nico Collins. He's the first read. He's running this quick slant here. You're going to have out of the backfield, Hassan Haskins is going into the flats here. And then on the backside, you're going to have, I think this is St. Ristel on a flag route. And then you're going to have a shorter out route here from the tight end. So quick route, it looks like Shea Patterson's eyes the whole way are up towards this corner. This corner is in soft coverage, so this will give him the leverage here. So it's a well-timed, well-delivered ball. Taking a look at Nico Collins' route here. Again, this corner is playing soft coverage. He's on the outside, so any interior route like a slant will have plenty of room. It does. Nice catch and run.
He just brings it every single down. Third and goal, push back to the 2.
Clever Wildcat formation here for Michigan that gets them a touchdown. Let's look at the play design. So you had Shea Patterson that goes out here. And what that does, that forces this defensive back to follow. So you take him out of the equation, you have 1, 2, 3, and really 4 guys to account for, right? Since the run for Michigan is designed to go right here, kind of off this left guard Bredesen here. And let's see how Michigan deals with these guys. So you can kind of draw a line here, right? You got these 3 offensive linemen, and then you'll have a pulling Eubanks to the left side here. So let's look at kind of how the right side of Michigan's offensive line accomplishes this. So moving forward here. So you got a really important job here out of Ruiz to set this right edge. He just needs to turn his guy inside, and then everyone's just kind of one-on-one here on the right sideline. Just don't let anyone through. Don't let penetration. That's what's going to kill this play. Anything on the backside. They all do their jobs. No one's getting through. So that's a good job, especially from Ruiz. That's an important job to wall his guy off there. So beyond that, let's look at probably the most important double team, or obviously the most important double team, but most important block here is this double initially between John Runyon Jr. and Bredesen here. So they do a really good job initially with this block. They get movement into the end zone, and then Bredesen IDs this linebacker creeping up here, falls off the double team after they get movement, and then he picks up this secondary block on the linebacker. That really forms this path for Charbonnet to tunnel his way in. And then the final piece of this is Eubanks coming across the formation. So he has to come across and pick up this guy coming off the edge. He doesn't need to get much movement. He just needs to hold it enough to create a lane here for Charbonnet between this double team here. Just kind of tunnel between these guys. Eubanks just has to get there in time so that the edge rusher doesn't have time to get to Charbonnet. Eubanks gets there, doesn't deliver too big of a pop, but he doesn't give up any ground. And Charbonnet goes right off his right butt cheek into the end zone. I like the play design to get one of the defenders out of there following Patterson. Brings a numbers advantage for Michigan to the play side.
With 2 minutes to play, Michigan football with 3 timeouts. Patterson, a deep shot, got a man.
Deep shot to Nico Collins for a completion, which maybe we should do that 50 times a game. Not really, but let's take a look at what Maryland's doing here. So they're only sending 4 on the pass rush, just these 4 down linemen. It initially looks like this endmost guy, this outside linebacker, is rushing, but he has He has McCune one-on-one in coverage, it seems like, or at least he needs to get a chip on him. So you're only really bringing these 4 defenders. So Michigan, has the numbers here in pass protection. No real issues initially. Something to take a look at is that Bredesen will fall off late here. So everyone else does a good job one-on-one, and you got Onwenu here to help Ruiz if needed. Running is doing great, but watch this guy. He'll come late as Patterson is throwing. Doesn't affect the throw, but still something I'd like to see. Bredesen holding on. You see right here, he's getting free towards the quarterback. So I wouldn't qualify this as a pressure, but something that I would have liked a little bit better. In terms of routes here for Michigan, he's got a straight fly route out of Nico Collins down the middle of the field. Inside release here for DPJ. He's going to get caught up with this defensive back here, so it's hard to tell exactly what his route would be. I'm guessing it's some sort of in route, but he never really gets there. Out of the backfield, out of play action, you got this little out route out of Charbonnet, and then you got a deep post route out of Eubanks from this kind of H-back position here. The read all the way seems to be to Nico Collins. Looks like right out of the play action here, Patterson's eyes are downfield towards the safety or towards the cornerback on Nico Collins. As far as the actual catch, again, Nico Collins is 6'4". He's got some height. This is actually excellent coverage, I would say. The cornerback really, does a good job getting a hand in here to contest this pass. Even so, this shows Collins, huge potential and his ability in 50-50 balls to come down with it. So only gripe with this play is that Michigan needs to be doing more of it. But, good play and first down, first and goal.
Second and goal. Charbonnet. Second and...
Really patient play from Charbonnet here on the counter. So Mayfield on the right side is here tasked with picking up number 4. It's a long developing play. You got Charbonnet going this way and then cutting just to the inside here. So this block really needs to hold up for a while to allow for that time. These 4 linemen, Onwenu, Ruiz, John Runyon Jr., and McCune, is all to just not allow anything backside of this play. You have Bredesen with the most important block. He's coming through and he's picking up the first blocker, which will end up being this gentleman through this hole that Charbonnet is running through. And then you're going to have Eubanks going outside of Bredesen, picking up the first thing he sees on the second level, which will be number 16. Let's take a first look at the down blocks here. So nothing backside, right? That's the whole goal of these 4 linemen. They do a good job. They all cave down. That allows the main blocks from Bredesen, Eubanks to really operate. Don't let any penetration through. Those guys need a clean path to get to the play side for this counter to operate correctly. So let's next take a look at Bredesen. Down blocks are all there. Really tough job for Bredesen. This guy comes upfield quite a bit. And again, Bredesen not only has to get head up on him, he needs to try to force him this way to not only allow Charbonnet a path through here, but also Eubanks has to cut across the formation tight to the line of scrimmage to get there. So Bredesen makes nice contact. He actually pushes him inside. Charbonnet cuts a little bit too close. I think that's more on the running back than Bredesen, but Bredesen does a good job eliminating him, forming this left side of this hole for Charbonnet to operate in. One thing I think Michigan could have done better, I'd like to see Mayfield on the right side here stay engaged with number 4 a little bit longer. You see, at this point, he's lost the block. Number 4 is already there. He's fortunate that this guy doesn't make a play. Charbonnet shows good balance, not being affected by that. And then you have Eubanks coming through here. He identifies number 16 as the target. He does a good job engaging with him with his outside shoulder free. Here you see number 4. This was Mayfield's guy making contact. Charbonnet works through that. And there you have Eubanks engaging with this blocker. Not only does this allow Charbonnet time to get his balance back to the outside, but it stops all of the flow from the secondary and the linebackers getting to Charbonnet here. So good job by Eubanks picking that up, and it's 6 points.
Weak, and you can call a timeout as soon as you get down. Maryland rushing 4. Patterson, a lob one, and a man wide open.
Nice pass here from Patterson at the end of the half here. Pretty simple pass rush out of Maryland. They're just bringing 4 on pressure, no stunts or anything, just these guys straight up. Michigan keeps 5 in for pass protection. No issues here. Pocket is collapsing a little bit. It looks like this could potentially be hands to the face, maybe if you're a Lions fan. But no, I don't think there's any hands to the face here. But it does get collapsed a little bit, Mayfield on the right side. So pocket is collapsing a little bit. But overall, at the time of the throw, this is a decent pocket for Patterson to deliver a ball. looking at the routes here. So you're going to have DPJ on the outside here running a deep post route. That's going to open up this sort of out and up. You could call it maybe a wheel route from McCune. This is what actually gets thrown. And this is all to put this defender right here in conflict. He's coming out here on his own, and he's going to follow DPJ towards the middle of the field. That opens up this area. On the other side of the field, you're going to have Ronnie Bell running kind of this deep in route, maybe crossing route here. You're going to have a shallow cross out of Nico Collins, and then you're going to have True Wilson on a kind of little angle route here. So you got 3 different levels on this side, but the main read, like I said, is right here for wherever this guy goes. If he starts following, shading towards DPJ, McCune's going to be open. It's a tough ask for this safety who's coming up here to actually follow McCune because he has this sort of responsibility in the flat. So for him to sink into this route, it's tough given that the zone that they're in here. So let's look at kind of how the routes develop. Again, you see that deep corner following DPJ, and that's what Patterson is starting to throw right now, reading that guy and the depth of this safety who came down on McCune. It's a well-delivered ball, maybe a little high, but it's right there on the money. McCune goes up, makes a nice catch. Unfortunately, missed field goal, but nice play to get within field goal range.
Kind of caught in between those two things right now, trying to figure it out.
Patterson, right back to Ronnie Bell.
Orbit motion here to Ronnie Bell out in the flat. The play design for Michigan's pretty good. They haven't really used the orbit motion guide too much, except for kind of this game they start opening it up. So obviously this is where the ball is going, and the offensive line is blocking down to the right. So this is bringing all of the action this way with Charbonnet, the fake here for Patterson, and that opens up the opposite side of the field here for Ronnie Bell on the bottom of your screen here. So you'll see just the number of defenders that this really takes. So you have not only the 4 down linemen here, but all of these linebackers, this defensive back and these linebackers are all reacting to the action to Charbonnet. They haven't seen anything on film for the orbit motion here out of Ronnie Bell, so why would they ever follow that, right? So you got 8 guys right here that are accounted for with this fake Ronnie Bell. You have 1 deep safety back here, and then you have one-on-one blocks with the 2 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen. So your numbers are really in favor of this throw action here to Ronnie Bell in the flat. You give him a lot of room to operate, and that's numbers are good for Michigan. So important guy here is number 25, really biting here, and that allows for this space out here with the blocks coming from the wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. So you got Cornelius Johnson. He's locking up really nicely. I'd like to see St. Risto do a little bit better here. He doesn't really get engaged. He had an advantage on this defensive back biting as well, and he never really stays engaged with them. So that's something that you'd like to see. St. Risto, obviously, he's young, but Cornelius Johnson's doing a good job staying engaged. If he stays here, then you get Ronnie Bell some options to cut back inside, maybe go outside here. You could argue Ronnie Bell should have gone outside here, but regardless, this blocking needs to be a little bit better, but still tons of room to operate. It's a good first down play here.
222 pounds.
On 3rd and goal, gonna throw for it.
Nice touchdown by Eubanks here. On Twitter, Gaddis said that this was an RPO, so let's take a look at the blocking assignments here and why I believe it is RPO. Obviously, he said so. Okay, one-on-one blocks on the left side here. You have both Nwinu, who kind of trips on this play, and Mayfield getting to the second level here for the split zone action to Hazan Haskins. You're going to have Eubanks coming across the formation, and he's either going to run a split zone block or he's going to run into the flat. You also have McCune going on this corner route here. So that's kind of the action you see out of Michigan on this play. So who are the guys that Michigan is RPOing here? Who are they reading? So you got 2 guys that are unblocked here that can affect either the throw or the pass. You have this defensive end, 96, and number 5 off of the edge. The guy that Patterson is looking at right now is this guy off the edge. I also believe that Eubanks is looking at that on his motion here. If this guy comes flying upfield, right, that's going to vacate the eventual flat route for Eubanks. That is a throw read. If he stays, okay, if this guy stays, That's going to open up a lot of running room for Haskins, given that this guy is blocked, okay? So if this guy stays, that's a give-keep for Patterson, and that tells Eubanks, hey, I'm not going out of my route because it's likely this guy will pick me up. I need to come across and run split zone and pick up this guy, and that will render this guy completely useless on the edge, and it'll count for this block. You got two guys leading the way to the second level with Ruiz right here. So it's an interesting concept with two reads, both from Patterson and Eubanks. Again, given that this guy came upfield, that is a keep and throw read here. You only have one defensive back to cover this corner out of McCune. He vacates that area. Since this guy is in Patterson's face, throws to be a little bit high. Eubanks goes up and catches it, and it's a wide open touchdown. So good play design, well executed.
Some big offenses and scheming and all those things, but it's different when you call your own.
True Wilson breaks free from the pack.
Power left for True Wilson, and he barrels a guy at the end of the run here. So blocking scheme, you got McCune one-on-one. You got Runyon blocking slightly down here to leave or to fill the gap essentially left from Bredesen, who's going on a pull here to seal the outside. One-on-one for Ruiz. His job is to seal to the right, and he does a really good job, probably best block of this play. And Winyu's going to pull through what's supposed to be the hole right off of John Runyon Jr.'s butt right here. And then you have right side, who is this, Mayfield, getting to the second level here. And then you got True Wilson just coming across formation. It's going here to this left side. So good blocks all around, especially Ruiz. He really sealed well. You do have this defensive end coming across the edge. He will get some effect on the play, but good blocks all around, minus Onwenu doesn't really get through the hole. He's just kind of behind Runyon here. So this is more of a misplay by Maryland than anything else. This safety grossly comes up way too far here. He identifies the gap, but then the backside linebacker makes the right tackle for Michigan here, makes his job really easy, right? He's flowing way too hard this way. He has contained for backside, and Wilson recognizes right about now that, hey, there's a big lane right here left, because not only is the safety filling this gap, which actually the safety is doing the appropriate job, this backside linebacker has flowed way too far, and that allows the block for the offensive tackle getting to the second level. So that opens everything up. Onwenu isn't really even needed on his pull because of that. Wilson gets around, gets away from the defensive end, and then just barrels through a safety for a big gain. So nice bit of running.
About it. Right. You didn't try the transfer portal, Grease, huh? On the ground, right up the...
Split zone read for a touchdown here for Michigan. Let's look at the play design. You're going to have one-on-one blocks on the left side. McCune and John Runyon Jr. Bredesen's getting to the second level here on this linebacker. You're going to have Ruiz trying to get to the second level on this linebacker. And when you're just going to try to seal the right side here on this defensive tackle. One-on-one block for Hayes. Eubanks is coming across a formation on his block on this split zone. Haskins is going up the middle. And you got Patterson going to the outside. The read zone is going to be over here. This player is actually going to be rushing up as well as this linebacker, but we'll cover that in a bit. So that's the overall play design. Let's first take a look at the left side here. One-on-one blocks here. They do pretty well. Let's fast forward here. Then you got Bredesen getting to the second level. This linebacker actually took a false step this way before rerouting this way. That gives enough time for Bredesen to get to the second level. You can see that this defensive tackle is actually shucking John Runyon Jr. He will make his way into the hole, but at that time, Haskins has already passed him, so not a big deal. Meanwhile, Bredesen is sealing really well at the second level there. On the right side of the line, this defensive tackle actually stunted into Onwenu. That's really going to help. What I would consider the toughest block on this play is Onwenu actually getting this guy turned into, he gets his butt around and forms the right side of this hole. You can see Ruiz getting to the second level here. He's kind of stumbling, but it doesn't matter. You have this linebacker working to the outside and this guy way upfield. So this run is really going to open up. So everyone's there. Really good job by Onwenu sealing the right side there. Let's take a look at the read and why this play was so successful. So this linebacker is coming straight up field. He actually goes for Patterson, but really he should be going for the running back because this linebacker is also going to the outside to deal with Eubanks on his split zone here. So really this play should be doomed based off of these two linebackers, but this guy goes for Patterson instead of Haskins, as well as this linebacker. So that frees up this entire area. Just a misplay by Maryland on the scrape exchange there. Combine that with good blocking from Onwenu, Bredesen getting to the second level with the false step, and you got a touchdown.
The first snap.
Absolutely.
Ryan Who. 3rd and 10. Completion.
Nice ball for McCaffrey here late in the game, crossing out to Derek Black. So Maryland's sending 4 on pressure. You got this defensive end going a little bit to the outside. This defensive tackle going to the to his right. Defensive end is looping hard around the right edge here as well. This guy's coming on a blitz. He's going to fake this way before coming around here. Onwenu is the main target here to try to confuse him by following to the outside or inside, really just to get him committed for this late blitz. Michigan handles the stunt really well. Sorry, I meant Ruiz, not Onwenu. So Ruiz had his head on a swivel, identifies the blitzer, stays home, and does well to pick that up. Really good protection at the time of the throw. We can't see all the routes here. There's St. Ristel on the outside of this Bell here. I think Bell is just on a clear out route. You're going to have this crossing route that will get thrown to for Tariq Black here. A little flat route from True Wilson. Eric All is running kind of this little stick route, maybe comeback route. And then I think you have at the top of the screen a little out route out of St. Ristel. Might be a little hitch route to the outside. So that's the route combination. Again, protection's really good. Since the linebackers are shifting back, especially with Eric All's route coming across both linebackers, that kind of allows this area for Tariq Black to come open on his route. And given the action from St. Ristel and Ronnie Bell, a little bit deeper routes up here, that again vacates the defensive backs here for Tariq Black to run a little bit. I think Tariq Black could have done a little bit better on his route. It looked like he did. I'll back it up here real quick. It looks like he did kind of slow down on his route right about here. Then he had to pick it back up. That's why the throw was a little bit ahead of him. But he does make a nice snag and gets right to the first down marker.